In this episode, we talk about another subordinate clause called the indirect question. But to start off with that, we need to say something about direct questions. A direct question is one like this. Who is the boy running faster than the Flash? Notice it has a question mark at the end, and it sounds like a question, right? That's a direct question. But now let's say we phrase it in a different way. The coach asked who the fast boy was. Notice there's a period at the end of the sentence. There's still a question in there, but it's not a direct question. The direct question, the words that the person actually asked, would be something like, who is the boy running faster than the Flash? But then maybe somebody's telling a story about that and telling a friend and say, oh, yeah, the coach asked who the fast boy was. So the person hasn't exactly quoted what the other person said, hasn't quoted the direct question, but has reported it indirectly. What that looks like in Latin is, it starts off with really three things. It is signaled by a question verb, a verb of asking, seeking, wondering, inquiring, something like that. Then the indirect question itself is introduced by a question word, a Latin word for who, what, where, why, when, how, so forth, something like that. And then finally, the indirect question in Latin uses a subjunctive verb, which, as we've been seeing recently with the cum clauses and other things, is translated indicatively. So let's take a look at this sample sentence. And you want to copy this into your notes. Senatus rogavit, cur Caesar cum barbaris pugnabat. And you notice the way we've punctuated that. We've got quotation marks, we've got a question mark there, and certainly with the way we punctuate things in English, it is clear that that's a direct question. In fact, if we look at it a little bit more, we do have our question verb, rogavit, a verb meaning to ask. We've got a question word, cur, meaning why, but our verb inside the quotations there, that is actually an indicative mood verb. So that's how we know this is not an indirect question. It's actually a direct question. And the translation would be, the Senate asked, why was Caesar fighting with barbarians? Now, let's say we wanted to make that into an indirect question. Well, we have a sentence like this. Senatus rogavit, cur Caesar cum barbaris pugnaret. Now, notice the things that have changed. All right, we've still got our question verb. We've still got our question word with cur. But notice now that the verb at the end of the sentence is not indicative, but is subjunctive mood. And you put all those three pieces together, and that makes an indirect question, one that would be translated like this. The Senate asked why Caesar was fighting with barbarians. You can even tell from the tone of my voice goes down at the end, there's a period at the end of the sentence. This is not a direct question, but is in fact an indirect question.